Well, Courtney, there's the deal. Moments ago, the Pittsburgh Steelers and T.J. Watt reached agreement on a record 3-year, $123 million extension that includes $108 million fully guaranteed at signing. This now makes T.J. Watt, for the second time in his career, the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. The price is only going up on players like Micah Parsons. I'm sure Trey Hendrickson in Cincinnati is aware of this particular deal. And we've seen it be the offseason of the pass rusher. Max Crosby, Danielle Hunter, Myles Garrett, now T.J. Watt, with still, you would think, Aiden Hutchinson to come, Micah Parsons to come, maybe Trey Hendrickson to come. So the pass rush deals continue to filter in. But T.J. Watt has set a new mark today, passing all the others, averaging $41 million a year on this new 3-year extension.
Yeah, $1 million more a year than Myles Garrett, who set the bar at $40 million. So the price continues to go up. Deadline spurring action, guys. The Pittsburgh Steelers report to training camp in Latrobe next week. Mike, your reaction to this news?
You know, Courtney, I'm old enough to remember when Nick Bosa was the highest paid defensive end last summer at $35 million a year. Why do teams like the Dallas Cowboys wait? I don't understand. When you hit on somebody like Micah Parsons, who's tough, productive, and he's going to be there, you know the price is going to go up. And this is a great deal for T.J. Watt. There was a 0.0% chance he wasn't going to be there. You don't go out and give DK Metcalf $35 million a year and give up a second-round pick. Go sign Aaron Rodgers, not to have T.J. Watt there. Sam, you know from a locker room perspective, he had to be there. He's a glue guy. I'm glad they rewarded him. And now I'm thinking about if I'm Dallas and Cincinnati, the price just went up.
Yeah, it's wise to pay guys early. That's what I'm learning. The earlier you pay guys, the better, because if you wait, the price goes up. But to your point, Mike T., the culture, T.J. Watt is what it means to be a Steeler. You think about it, all his teammates are talking about what it's like to get him back. We need him in our locker room. Yeah, from a culture perspective, but also from a production perspective. He's played 8 years in the NFL, 7-time Pro Bowler, 4-time first-team All-Pro, has led the NFL in sacks multiple times, led the NFL in forced fumbles multiple times. He's feared by offensive linemen. I was at the O-line Masterminds deal. They have a full breakdown on, okay, how do we try to stop or slow down T.J. Watt? And so, yes, it's well-deserved, but other teams need to take note that if you're going to pay a guy and you wait, you're not wise.
Yeah, Trey Hendrickson, Micah Parsons, Aiden Hutchinson, 3 pass rushers waiting on deals. So it's T.J. Watt, Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, and Danielle Hunter who got deals this offseason. 73.5 sacks, Mike T, for T.J. Watt over the last 5 seasons, most by any defensive end in that stretch. But he's 30 years old. Is there any hesitancy to pay a guy this much money when he's going to soon be on the other side of 30?
Yeah, Courtney, it's a totally fair question. But if you look at T.J. Watt in particular, he's been durable. A couple of years ago, we only played in 10 games. And when you look at some of the moves they made, they traded for Jalen Ramsey. They had to give up Minkah Fitzpatrick. But when you have concerns about a secondary, the best way to mask those concerns is to have somebody like here at number 90. And again, it's a fair question about 30, but when he's in your building, he's going to the Hall of Fame. He is a have to have. He is not a nice to have. So there's nothing in his body of work, the way he plays or conditions, to think that this risk is unreasonable. Again, to Sam's point, like, why wait? You know, it's only gone up about $6 million per year on a multi-year deal since last summer.
And it's not just him. Think about what he does for guys like Alex Highsmith, who's on the opposite side of him. What he's going to do for guys like DJ Harmon, who was drafted the first round this year, who's going to potentially play right next to him. Obviously, Cam Hayward is there as well, but this just solidifies what already has been a consistently good defense. Maybe even on the verge of consistently great. He helps solidify that, not just for him individually, but what he brings to the locker room and the guys next to him. If you have a guy like T.J. Watt that's next to you, it makes your job easier. I remember when I was a rookie, I played with Calais Campbell, and all of a sudden the focus, and that was when he was, you know, not on year 18, right? But all of a sudden I had a lot more one-on-ones because they were trying to put more focus on Calais. And so that's what T.J. Watt is going to do. He's going to allow everyone next to him and across from him to be that much better.
So another all-in move for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I want to bring Adam Schefter back in here because we have seen edge rushers, wide receivers, these 2 positions specifically get paid this offseason. What is the sentiment around the league about some of these recent deals?
Well, obviously the price only goes up as we're talking about. In every offseason, Courtney, there seems to be a certain position that's going to be paid. A couple of off seasons ago, we saw the quarterbacks be paid. Last offseason, we saw the wide receivers be paid. Now, we're seeing the defensive ends, the edge rushers be paid, and we're not done yet. You see TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, Danielle Hunter, Max Crosby, all on that list of pass rushers who have been paid this offseason. And there potentially are still deals pending. For the Lions, Aiden Hutchinson. For the Bengals, Trey Hendrickson. We've certainly talked about that particular situation enough. And the Dallas Cowboys edge rusher, Micah Parsons. And so for all the deals that we've gotten so far, we may just be scratching the surface with these other 3 deals to come. And those who wait are left behind. Those who wait don't get a discount. Those who wait pay premium prices. And that's what's going to be the case in all of these particular situations as these remaining pass rushers who haven't gotten paid this offseason now look for their new deals with training camps opening in the next week.
I believe the saying goes, today's price is not tomorrow's price. So Dallas, Cincinnati, and Detroit, what are you waiting for? I want to ask you, Mike, though, about Trey Hendrickson, because of those 3 names that Adam mentioned, and we showed you up there on the board with some of the other non-quarterbacks who are yet to be paid and those who have gotten their deals. Hendrickson has said he doesn't want to play for Cincinnati given the current circumstances. He has requested a trade. Hutchinson and Parsons have not. How does a deal like this affect what his market is and where he could potentially go?
Yeah, Courtney, it only fortifies his position, but I think there's a lot of similarities between the 2 situations. Here's why. You look again at Pittsburgh. They get Aaron Rodgers, right? They go out and they get DK Metcalf. They're not going to trade TJ Watt. Likewise, they just paid 2 great receivers in Jamar Chase and T. Higgins with a great quarterback in Joe Burrow. It's inconceivable to me to think they're going to go out and now trade Trey Hendrickson. They have 0 chance to win a game when they don't score 30 points if Trey Hendrickson isn't there. So to me, Trey Hendrickson just got wealthier. Micah Parsons just got wealthier. And I would be floored if Cincinnati, let's give them credit, they locked up great young players.
First day of school vibes out in SoCal with our first training camp practice of the offseason in the books. Los Angeles Chargers had practice number 1 on Thursday in front of fans at the Bolt. Just 2 weeks from tonight, they face the Lions in the Hall of Fame game. Lindsay Thiry is on the scene in El Segundo and joins us now after hearing today from Jim Harbaugh. Lindsay, what'd you hear from the Chargers coach on the first day of camp?
Courtney, you nailed it. First day of school vibes. Jim Harbaugh's excitement and enthusiasm was palpable. He said, in fact, his goal for day 1 was to not let his emotions get the best of him as they got through football practice. After speaking with reporters for 25 minutes about everything under the sun, including the 7 presidents he's met, the Pope, and the 22 balls he's caught at MLB stadiums, Harbaugh took to the practice field. That was about 20 minutes before practice actually got going. The first player to follow him out there, Justin Herbert. And what Harbaugh expects for Herbert this season, well, he says everyone must measure up to the quarterback.
You know, I think Justin's biggest weakness is those around him that he's counting on offense. Us coaches and playmakers and players on offense. We got to get to Justin Herbert's level.
You know, I think he's the head man, and we're going to follow him no matter what. But you know, I think we could all play towards him and try to make him proud.
Justin also enthusiastic about day 1, but in a little bit of a mood shift after practice because receiver Mike Williams is going to be retiring. He is retired from the Chargers as of today. Williams' agent, I should say, speaking with the Chargers and delivering them that news last night, and that is a big loss. Justin Herbert saying it's heartbreaking. Derwin James, their safety, echoing that same sentiment. Williams was expected to return and be a big playmaker for Herbert now after a couple of seasons away in New York and with Pittsburgh. And also, as far as receivers go, Herbert now really needing to see his rookie, Trey Harris. Harris is still not at training camp as the 2nd-round pick, and his representation tried to get a deal done with the Chargers and get that contract signed. I asked Harbaugh about the urgency to get Harris into camp. Harbaugh telling me the sooner the better. It can't happen fast enough. That's the facts, as the young people say. Courtney?
We appreciate it. Thanks so much. That's a huge loss for Justin Herbert right now and the Los Angeles Chargers. Keeping an eye on Trey Harris, obviously the Mike Williams situation, because it affects Justin Herbert. He put up some big numbers in his first season under Jim Harbaugh, but when you take a little peek under the hood, some of those numbers might be a little inflated. Including the wild card round against the Texans, Herbert went 2-6 against teams that made the playoffs last season and threw 9 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. And then you take a look at the teams that didn't make the postseason. Herbert was 9-1 and threw 15 touchdowns to just 1 interception. We know, obviously, an 11-6 finish is a good season by most metrics, but doesn't mean much without the success in the postseason. So, obviously, Justin Herbert needs to play better and play better in bigger games, but the challenge here, Sam, that is projected coming off of Thursday with some major questions now that we have at the wide receiver position. How big of a deal is this?
I don't think it's as big of a deal as people may think that it is. Why do I say that? The LA Chargers want to be a run-first football team. That's who Greg Roman is. That's what Jim Harbaugh has been. Last year, they were 28th when it came to rush attempts. They're only 11th when it came to rush attempts, 28th when it came to pass attempts. What did they do in the first round this year? Draft a running back, Amarion Hampton. What did they do in the first round last year? Draft Joe Alt, an offensive lineman. They have Bradley Bozeman on the interior. They get Mekhi Becton, who helped lead the Philadelphia Eagles running game. And so, for me, I expect this to be a physical, bruising type of offense, and there not to be as much pressure on Justin Herbert.
Yeah, and I can tell you from a front office perspective, when this happens, you're like, oh, gosh, what do we do? And I think it's a little bit by committee. You mentioned Amarion Hampton. 73 catches at North Carolina. He's really productive out of the backfield. And I think a key player now becomes Quentin Johnston, their first-round pick a couple years ago out of TCU. He went from 2 touchdown passes to 8 a year ago, and he still has a ways to go in terms of his physicality that we saw at TCU, Sam. But if we get more production out of him, Tyler Conklin, there's enough pieces there where it's certainly not ideal to lose a guy before you even start camp that you were counting on. But there are enough other elements to their passing game that can make up for it.
So the Chargers have to consider some replacements at wide receiver. One who is just in their backyard right now from our Chargers reporter, Chris Rim. There was some bring back Keenan, as in Keenan Allen chants at Chargers training camp today. He is sitting out there as a free agent right now, played the 2024 season with the Chicago Bears. So maybe an option. Would you sign him, Sam, at 32 years old?
I don't know if I'd sign Keenan Allen back right now. I just go back to how great Ladd McConkey's been playing. I mean, this dude, I think it was only 82 receptions. That's out of the top 25, but he was in the top 15 when it came to yards. And so Ladd McConkey is on that level of elite. That's where he's going. And so I would focus on him, and obviously Trey Harris hoping to get him signed, but I don't know if you need to make a big splash move just yet.
Yeah, we always had a sign that said every rock every day, meaning we were going to be systematically relentless to look at every option. Not sure if we're there quite yet on Keenan Allen, but like Trey Harris, get him signed. See what Quentin Johnston has. See what Amarion Hampton, Tyler Conklin, knowing that somebody like Keenan Allen maybe he comes in halfway through the season. So I think he's someone you monitor for now. I don't think you have to overreact in mid-July.
So no, not time to panic just yet.
Not yet.
Stay one in training camp, everybody. Everybody calm down.